Alright, night two review. You know the business, you know the deal. Let's not muck around, let's get right into it. We kicked off the show, the kickoff match anyway, was Natalia versus Liv Morgan, and it was a match, I guess. Liv Morgan went over Natalia, so that was pretty cool. I like Liv Morgan. I like this new changing character she's gotten, so not much to complain about with that. We did kick off the main show with the NXT Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair. It's actually quite strange that we're getting an NXT title match on WrestleMania for the first time ever. So that was definitely different. And I gotta say, these two women actually put on a very, very good match. I actually, yeah, really enjoyed this opening match. Charlotte, pretty much the whole story of this match was Charlotte Flair pretty much working on the leg of Rhea Ripley. You could just hear the screams that she was making throughout the whole match, and she was selling it very well. Charlotte Flair went for like a spear at the end, but it kind of looked a bit weak, so I'm glad they didn't really end it with that. But it did end with Charlotte after just constantly aiming at the left leg, locking in the figure eight. Rhea Ripley taps, and Charlotte Flair is now the NXT Women's Champion. I saw a lot of mixed opinions on this. There have been people that love this decision, the people that fucking hate this decision. Honestly, I'm trying to look optimistic about this. I think this could give a lot of the women on NXT a great opportunity to really shine and show what they can really do and step up against a big time player like Charlotte Flair. Obviously, Charlotte has pretty much been the face of the women's division since this whole women's evolution thing really kicked into high gear around 4 years ago. It'd be cool to see. I was going to say Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair, but I'm not sure if we're even going to get that, and I'll tell you why later on. Obviously, she could defend against Dakota Kai, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae. There's so many women down in NXT that she could have fantastic matches with. So that's the thing I'm kind of looking forward to with her as NXT Women's Champion. Yeah, I thought they absolutely killed it. It was a really great opener, and hopefully this can lead to maybe a rematch for her and Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship sometime in the future. Then we get to Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. This match has had pretty much no build up whatsoever. Haven't really cared about this match much at all because they haven't really done anything with each other. Yeah, Bobby Lashley debuted some long tights, which was interesting. But how this match all ended, Bobby Lashley got ready to set up to hit the spear, but then he got caught into the Black Mass, and Aleister Black got the win. Aleister was wearing a really cool jacket or like a hoodie or something like that when he was coming into the ring. But yeah, Aleister Black got the win. Right decision in my opinion. Match really wasn't all that much to go crazy about, but yeah, Aleister Black got the win. That's all that matters, and I'm happy about that. Then we get to Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, I've really enjoyed the build up for this. So, it all started off with Otis trying to get Mandy Rose's attention as he had a bit of a crush on her, giving her some cakes and just some, stuff that his mum's baked for him and giving it to her. This would end up setting up a date between the two on Valentine's Day, on the Valentine's Day episode of SmackDown. So Otis is trying to get ready. However, he's a bit late to the date. So Dolph Ziggler ends up taking his place instead, which is what we all thought. But it turns out that he was going to send the text to Mandy saying he'll be there. However, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose's best friend, ended up getting into Otis's phone and texting her saying that he was going to be late to make sure that Mandy didn't end up with Otis because Sonya doesn't like Otis because she's a bitch. I don't know. And so that was revealed on the SmackDown before WrestleMania when the mystery hacker that's been kind of popping up all over SmackDown sort of revealed himself. Well, he didn't actually reveal his identity, but he did. This is the closest we've gotten so far. I don't know who it is. Might be Ali, because the little circle thing that's around the hacker kind of looks like the circle that's on his glove when he enters the ring. Or it could be someone completely different. Who knows? Yeah, we got to Otis versus Dolph Ziggler, and you know what? I actually like this match. I actually like this match quite a bit. It would have been so much better if there was a crowd, obviously, but yeah, like this match definitely would have helped with the crowd. But you know what? For what they did, I actually was pretty entertained throughout this. Dolph Ziggler was a great heel in this match, and I was going for Otis the entire time. Ziggler ended up kicking Otis in the dick when Sonya was distracting the ref, and then Mandy Rose came out, and she was looking great, by the way. She walked up to Sonya, slaps the shit out of her. And so Ziggler gets distracted and he gets hit with the Caterpillar, and Otis picks up the win. And then Otis ends up picking up Mandy in his arms, and they end up kissing in the greatest WrestleMania moment of all time. Way more emotional than Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. You know, our boy Otis finally got in. So yeah, if Otis can get Mandy Rose, then man, you can get whoever you want. So yeah, good match. The ending was exactly what I wanted it to be. So yeah, Mandy Rose and Otis are now dating on screen. So that's a good story, a nice feel-good moment for Otis, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with that match. And then we get to the last man standing match, Randy Orton versus Edge. Edge's first match in 9 years. It's a big time coming. Edge ended up making his return at the Royal Rumble 2020. Obviously, I absolutely lost my shit when Edge came back. An amazing moment. And pretty much says that he wants to now retire on his own terms. That was when Randy Orton came out. This was the night after the Royal Rumble, and he talks about how Edge helped him dig out of a hole that he couldn't get out of, and how he's always helped him throughout his entire career, and how he talked about wanting to form a rated RKO one more time until he hits him with an RKO, grabs a chair and hits the concerto on him, taking him off television for a few weeks. And just Randy Orton, this storyline has been fantastic. It's been fucking great. Randy Orton has been putting on some of his best TV work in years, in my opinion. Uh, with all the promos he's been cutting, he's been pretty much playing off like he's the hero. He thinks he's the hero in this situation, that he's doing Edge a favor by keeping him out of the ring because he wants to protect his family. And he even gets Beth Phoenix in the ring, and Randy even looks at her and says, I love you, I love your kids more than you do. And of course, Beth is absolutely offended and slaps the shit out of Randy Orton until Randy hits an RKO on Beth Phoenix, and that was kind of the thing that made Edge want to come back. And so Edge pretty much says that Orton is jealous, and he's the one that writes the story. And while Edge has grit and has had to work for everything in his career, Orton's pretty much had everything handed to him on a silver platter because of his dad and his family heritage in the wrestling business, which kind of sets up this last man standing match. So we get Edge coming out, and oh man, seeing Edge come out, even though there's no people there, just the fact that we still got the smoke and him coming out with the trench coat and everything, it was just an amazing moment to see Edge actually wrestling a one-on-one match. That's just insane to me. I mean, there was a time where I legitimately thought I was never going to see Edge again. The fact that we're even seeing Edge wrestling is just amazing to me. So he's waiting in the ring for Randy Orton to show up. And so Randy Orton disguises himself as a cameraman and hits the RKO on Edge, and which I thought was a great way to open up the match. And then the two pretty much just start fighting all over the Performance Center. They move out of the arena and they start fighting around the workout equipment, and Orton even starts hanging Edge with a bench press, which, look, I watched that Dark Side of the Ring with Chris Benoit, and that did not give me good vibes, man. Yikes. I'm sure that was not what they were going for, but still, it's not a pretty sight to see someone getting hanged with like a bench press. So yeah, Edge was doing some like parkour shit throughout the entire match. Like there was this bit where he was like hanging on to a pull up bar, and he jumped off it and landed on Randy Orton, who was sitting in a chair, which I thought that was something. And so they end up fighting in the tech area back onto the WrestleMania stage, and Edge gets thrown off and lands on the barricade. So then they start fighting in the office area, And so Orton gets slammed onto the big office table, and Edge climbs the chain link fence on the top on the roof of the office. Which, why is there a chain link fence on the office? Is this just for the match? Because if they have meetings with that, then that's a bit fucking weird. I'm just picturing just Triple H getting all the boys around talking about what's happening on NXT and the big fucking chain link fence above him. Like, oh my god. No wonder he's obsessed with steel cage matches and war games matches and stuff. And so they start fighting, yeah, more into the office area. They start slamming into the walls and various posters, and the cameraman pretty much trips over and dies. So yeah, that was rad. And then they start fighting off into this warehouse area where they keep all this random stuff, and they slam each other into ladders. And then Edge dives off this, not a balcony, but on top of this little area, and which he climbed off on the ladder, and elbow drops Randy through the table, and then they start fighting up on the truck, where there was Randy Orton hits a DDT on the truck, and here's what I'll say about this match. I liked it. I thought it was a good match overall. The storytelling in it was bloody great, but man, just that silence throughout. It just, if they would have taken about 5 or 10 minutes off of the match, there probably would have been a banger. Honestly, it probably would have been a fantastic match. And also, as well, to me, the biggest problem for this match, in my opinion, was the commentary. The commentary was fucking terrible. Saxton and Tom Phillips were just deadpan throughout this entire thing. It's like, dude, this is Edge's first match in 9 years. Show a bit of fucking enthusiasm, for everything that's going on. I mean, yeah, obviously the brawling and the fighting kind of dragged on a bit, but if you would have covered it up with, a bit of storytelling and, actually putting some excitement in your voices, then it would have been a bit more bearable. But no, you're just, it's talking like deadpan the entire time, and it really took away from the match, in my opinion. Just, there was nothing there from the commentary. They were just like, oh, cool, this match, I guess. It's like, oh my god, terrible stuff. But yeah, they're fighting on the roof of the truck, and the spear gets caught into an RKO, and I think Edge ends up finally hitting him with a spear at one point, and so the referee goes to count to 10, and Edge looks at him and at the ref and says, "Don't you fucking count," which was great because then Edge got the two chairs and ends up hitting Randy Orton. He gets the ultimate revenge for what Orton did to him, and he hits him with the concerto. Orton's out. He doesn't make it to the 10 count, and Edge wins the match. So the ending was very good. The ending made a lot of sense. Obviously, with Orton doing that to Edge, which kind of started this whole thing, it only made sense for Edge to put a bit of closure on this by doing the same thing to Orton. So yeah, there were definitely some good elements of this match. Storytelling was very well done. Some of the spots they did here were actually kind of cool, but I just felt this match dragged for a little bit, in my opinion. So, was it the worst match ever? No, not by a long shot. I still thoroughly enjoyed it, but yeah, there were definitely a lot of negatives to go inside with the positives, especially with the commentary being dreadful. But yeah, it was still a pretty decent match. The good points about it were really good, and the bad points about it were pretty fucking bad. So yeah, sort of disappointed, but at the same time, they did do a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, I'm very conflicted on that match. So yeah, at least Edge got the win, and he can move on to a different feud. Maybe Seth Rollins. Hell, they might even throw him into the ladder match for Money in the Bank, because that's going to be the next pay-per-view, if that pay-per-view even fucking happens, because so much uncertainty going on. But yeah, I'm just excited to see what Edge is going to do next. I'm just so fucking happy that we're seeing Edge now. At least if we're going to get anything out of this, I'm just glad that we're seeing Edge healthy and competing in a wrestling match now, and because I watched that 24 documentary, and that was just great. If you haven't seen the 24 documentary about Edge's return to the Royal Rumble, please do it. It's fantastic. We get a 24/7 championship moment. Mojo Rawley is running around the arena. All the jobbers are going after him. And then Rob Gronkowski, the host of WrestleMania, gets on the little podium thing, jumps off it, and lands on everyone, pins Mojo Rawley, and Rob Gronkowski is now the 24/7 champion. So, yes, that's official. That's in the books now. So then we get to the Raw Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits defending against Angel Garza and Austin Theory, who's replacing Andrade, who was meant to be in the match, but I think he's either hurt or pulled out for the same reason that The Miz and Roman Reigns did due to the coronavirus thing. But this match was okay. They did, there were some good parts about it. I think, I'm happy that Austin Theory got a WrestleMania match this young in his career. That's always good. Angel Garza, I've really been impressed by what he's going to do, and the Street Profits are always entertaining. I'm glad Montez Ford actually got caught this time when he did his outside dive, because last week Austin didn't catch him and he just slammed on the rampway, which sounded brutal. But yeah, the Street Profits ended up getting the win. But right afterwards, Angel Garza and Austin Theory just beat the crap out of them. And then, alongside with Selena Vega, who was there helping them out. And then Bianca Belair shows up, which was a bit of a surprise, and goes after Selena Vega. Obviously, her and Montez Ford are in a relationship, so it kind of makes sense that Bianca Belair would help out the Street Profits. And so, does that mean Bianca Belair's a babyface now, since the Street Profits are a babyface team? I mean, I'd assume so. And has Bianca Belair got called up to the main roster? Is she a member of the Raw roster? I think we're gonna have to see about that when it comes to Raw tomorrow. Yeah, by the time I'm recording this, Raw hasn't happened yet. So yeah, if I release this after Raw's happened, just point that out. So yeah, it was nice seeing Bianca Belair. I thought we were going to get to see a match between her and Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Title. I mean, we can still get that, and I hope we do, because that match would be pretty bloody awesome. But yeah, Bianca Belair, main roster, Street Profits retaining. Cool, 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 cool. And then we get to the Fatal 5-Way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defending against Lacey Evans, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and Tamina. It was alright. It was a match that existed. Tamina got eliminated first. Then Naomi got eliminated, which I was a bit disappointed about because I really liked Naomi. And then it ended up being Lacey, Bayley, and Sasha. And Sasha seemed to be pissed at Bayley because she kind of wanted to get the pinfall or something like that, or maybe Bayley tried to pin her. I'm trying to remember, and it caused a bit of friction between the two. But then Lacey ended up pinning Sasha Banks, and now it's the final two, Lacey Evans and Bayley. But they wrestle for a bit, and then Sasha Banks ends up coming back into the match, and actually, to the surprise, well, not really, helps Bayley retain the SmackDown Women's Championship and cost Lacey Evans the match. So yeah, as of right now, they are still friends, but I think that was the first sign of friction starting between the two. So I reckon if this was in front of a crowd, then there definitely would have been a turn. So they can get that big reaction from everyone. So if that's what they were trying to do, then yeah, fair enough. But yeah, the match wasn't all that special. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great or anything. So it was kind of just there. So yeah, Bayley still the SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm surprised that she's held the belt for that long. I think definitely the change in character, getting rid of the whole lovable hugger gimmick to a more serious character, has definitely helped her. So yeah, cool stuff overall. Then we get to the Firefly Funhouse match between John Cena and the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Oh my god, where the fuck do I start with this? Oh my lord, this wasn't even a match. This was a fucking experience. Is this what taking acid feels like? Because that's what I felt when I watched this match. This This was the most insane match in the history of WWE. It topped the Boneyard match for me when it came to complete and utter craziness. So the feud going into this is John Cena talked about wanting maybe stepping aside from WrestleMania this year and wanting the future to take over, but then the Fiend Bray Wyatt showed up, pointed at the WrestleMania sign, and then when they moved to the Performance Center, he just started playing mind games with John Cena, and so yeah, so it starts off with John Cena entering the Performance Center, and I thought, oh, we're just gonna get a normal match between the two, okay? And then it cuts to just this static, like WrestleMania, Vince from WrestleMania 2 saying, "Welcome to WrestleMania," and it's all staticky and stuff until we get to the Firefly Funhouse theme music. Bray Wyatt's there, and then John Cena just teleports into the fucking funhouse. So yeah, we're definitely getting started off on a weird note, and he's just looking around, rambling rabbits, talking to John Cena, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And so he walks through the door in this dark, empty place, and then the Vince McMahon puppet shows up and says, "Oh, John, you gotta show your ruthless aggression, or you'll be fired," and all that, which was pretty funny. And then we get to to a blank empty arena or this blank empty area, and Bray Wyatt starts recreating the Kurt Angle promo from 2002 where he asked someone to come out to an open challenge, and then we get John Cena dressed up in his 2002 attire, and I marked the fuck out. I watched this with the 5.8, and oh, we just lost it. Seeing John Cena in his little blue and orange biker shorts in 2020 was yeah, it was something, man. And so he comes out, they do the whole ruthless aggression thing, and then he goes to slap the Fiend, but the Fiend blocks out of the way and starts popping up behind Cena, and he starts singing "You Can Look, but You Can't Touch," obviously referring to Nikki Bella. And he also mentions, "Oh, no wonder they almost fired you back then, because Cena almost got fired in 2002 because he wasn't that good, and then the Doctor of Thuganomics gimmick kind of saved him." But I saw this thing. There was this post that was shared from Reddit talking about how this whole match was pretty much Cena living his worst fears, like a bad debut, and all that. So I'll talk about it more when we go later into the match. But after that bit, we then get to a Saturday night's main event promo where Bray Wyatt is trying to act like Hulk Hogan, and Johnny Large Meat, Johnny Large Meat pops up, and he just starts doing like bicep curls with the dumbbells, and he's just screaming, cutting a promo behind a cage somewhere, kind of similar to the one that like Macho Man and Zeus cut for building up to SummerSlam '89. And so he's just doing dumbbell curls, and then he kind of just twitches out for a bit and kind of gets back into reality. And then we get another time, and then we go back into the empty arena, or just the empty black nothingness, and we get Doctor of Thuganomics John Cena. And the thing I loved as well, they even just put the SmackDown fist there for like no reason, and then he's coming out to the Doctor of Thuganomics theme, and just all the Firefly Funhouse members are just jamming out, enjoying the fuck out of it. And so Cena just starts just spitting rhymes. He calls Husky Harris fat in one of his rhymes, and yeah, and then later on, it turns into Bray Wyatt turns into his old Follow the Buzzards gimmick, where he's in the Wyatt compound and he's got the old hat and the Hawaiian shirt, and they get transported back to WrestleMania 30, which Bray Wyatt blames John Cena for his downfall that night at WrestleMania 30 6 years ago. So they even recreate the spot where Wyatt convinces Cena to hit him with the chair. Now, obviously, at WrestleMania 30, Cena didn't actually do it. He rose above the hate. But this time, he actually does hit Bray Wyatt with the chair and just beats the shit out of him. And this is probably the closest we're ever going to get to a full-on John Cena heel turn because, yeah, these are all things that John Cena, fears the most, or just his worst thoughts, a bad, getting fired, a bad debut, his rapping gimmick his rap career not taking off, embracing the hate, turning heel, and the heel turn gets amplified when they suddenly switch to an episode of WCW Nitro. Bray Wyatt is pretending to be Eric Bischoff, which is something I thought I would never see. And so he introduces John Cena, and John Cena is dressed up in NWO gear, and he's doing the air guitar like Hollywood Hogan would do, and the Vince McMahon puppet and the Buzzard puppet, which is now the Macho Man, or wearing a Macho Man, and Vince McMahon, in the best moment of the night, says, "That's such good shit." I could not believe they actually fucking said that. For the 5 people that don't know, if you haven't listened to the John Moxley podcast on Talk is Jericho, he pretty much talks about how Vince McMahon says it's such good shit. And wow, the fact that they actually brought it up on WrestleMania, no less, just amazing, amazing. And so, yeah, they ended up going back into modern times. Cena's just wondering what the fuck's going on. And then the Fiend shows up and they actually have a bit of a match. He locks in the Mandible Claw. Cena just dies. He pretty much fucking dies. And the Fiend beats John Cena. Wow. That was a fucking roller coaster of what the fuckness. That match, or if you can even call it a match, that was the strangest 13 minutes of WWE programming I have ever seen. Like, at least with the Boneyard match, don't get me wrong, that Boneyard match was fucking ridiculous. But at least it had a level of consistency to it. Like, they weren't fucking teleporting to different time periods or anything like that. But this was just cracked out, man. Like, Cena playing his old gimmicks, like recreating old moments, Cena being in the NWO, the Vince McMahon puppet saying that's good shit. Like, what the fuck? Imagine showing this match to a non-wrestling fan. And I think it was summed up perfectly by Titus O'Neil's reaction, who took over the hosting duties after Rob Gronkowski pretty much fucked off with the 24/7 title. Because right after they finish showing the match, they show Titus O'Neil just going, "What the fuck?" Like, he didn't actually say what the fuck, but he's like, "That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen." And I got to agree, that was the strangest thing I've ever seen. That was ridiculous to the utmost degree. But I fucking loved it. It was everything it was just like the Boneyard match. It was everything I wanted and more. I wanted it to be ridiculous. Like, I knew it was going to be crazy. I didn't know it was going to be that fucking crazy. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then we get to the main event. WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defending against Drew McIntyre. This all started at the 2020 Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar entering at number 1, tearing through half of the match until Drew McIntyre appeared, hitting the Claymore kick on him, eliminating Brock Lesnar. What an amazing moment. Honestly, that 2020 Royal Rumble match was fantastic. And pretty much that set off Brock Lesnar. Drew McIntyre ended up winning the Royal Rumble match, which earned him a spot at WrestleMania to main event. And the build-up was pretty good when they were doing the crowd stuff. Like when Drew McIntyre hit that Claymore kick on Brock Lesnar when they're on the stage and the people going fucking nuts. It was an awesome moment. Obviously, now they can't rectify that because there's no fucking crowd. But yeah, to me, this match was pretty much exactly the same like Goldberg and Braun Strowman. They just hit their big finishes, But for some reason, and I don't know why, I like this match a hell of a lot more than Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Goldberg versus Braun Strowman was shit. It was just shit because Goldberg just hanging up, man, just hanging up. But like at least with Brock Lesnar, he's got some athleticism to him because when Brock hits the F5, and this is in pretty much all his matches, every time he hits the F5, it always makes me see him like, wow, this could be it. So when they kick out, it's like, holy shit. So he hits Drew with a few suplexes and like three F5s, and Drew kicks out. And I felt this match would have been way better if this was in front of a crowd, obviously. But then Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore kick, another Claymore kick, and a third Claymore kick, and Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion. He beats Brock Lesnar in under 5 minutes and holds the championship. So, yeah, was this the greatest match ever? No, not really. But to me, this was the Goldberg versus Braun Strowman match if it was actually decent, because I don't know why. I just like this match a lot more, maybe because it went a little bit longer and it wasn't as just super quick as that Universal title match, and also maybe I think I'm just more happy to see Drew McIntyre win the WWE title than I am with Braun Strowman winning the Universal title. I don't know, it's fucking weird, but Drew McIntyre is finally the WWE champion. The 10-year long destiny has finally been fulfilled when Vince McMahon said Drew McIntyre would be a future world champion. He ended up being right in the end. So yeah, Drew McIntyre's WWE champion. Pretty fucking awesome. I'm super happy for Drew, and hopefully he can get a good reign out of this. So yeah, that was WrestleMania Night 2. I think I liked Night 1 a bit more. I think Night 1 had a little bit more, was more consistently good than Part 2, but Part 2 did have its good its good moments. Obviously, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair was a great opening match. Um, I liked elements of Edge versus Randy Orton. I thought the storytelling was great, but it dragged on a bit too long and the commentary sucked. Yeah, The Fiend versus John Cena was just absolute insanity, and I loved every minute of it. And Drew McIntyre winning the title was great as well. So yeah, there was definitely some good moments of Part 2 of WrestleMania 36. But overall, both nights, I gotta say to WWE for all the crazy circumstances they were given in such a short time, they managed to make the best of what they did. So yeah, I kind of have to applaud them on that. Is this the greatest WrestleMania ever? No, nowhere close. But for what they managed to do, we did get some pretty great moments throughout both nights. However, the two cinematic shot matches will be the matches that I'll remember from this show. The Boneyard match, which was just awesome, and so was the Firefly Funhouse, which was just absolute insanity. So yeah, I'd give part two of WrestleMania like a thumbs in the middle, because there was some good, some bad, and yeah, that was pretty much night two of WrestleMania. Overall, this was a decent WrestleMania with everything that they were given. There was a lot of fun to be had when the moments were good. So yeah, that's what I think about it overall. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little review. I'm not sure if I'm going to be up and do any more videos. I might. I mean, since we're all isolated and in fucking quarantine, I might as well do something instead of, jerking off to Pornhub all the time. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down below what you thought of night two. What was your match of the night? Yeah, it's going to wrap things up here. Hope you guys enjoyed. And, yeah, have a good one.